Welcome to Wine Soundtrack Australia. Listen to the passion with which producers narrate their winery and their world.
In 30 ounces, discover their stories, personalities and passions.
Hello friends and listeners of Wine Soundtrack. My name is Priscilla Hennicam. I'm here today with Tim from Trocchio Wines. How are you today?
I'm great, Priscilla. Thanks. Great to see you.
So you are the smallest winery in Australia. That's true?
I don't know of any smaller. Yeah, we said that tongue-in-cheek quite some time ago, but I don't think there is anybody as small as Trocchio Wines.
Yeah, it's such a very small batch. That's what you want to be, and that's what you want. That's the goal of the Trocchio Wines, right?
Absolutely, small batch winemaking. It started off with family and friends. So, yeah, look, it's pretty exclusive, but it's something that I can manage personally, along with a full-time job. So, yeah, we've kept it small, and small's good.
So, where are you located? Tell to our listeners.
We're located at the foothills of the Donegan Ranges, a place called Fonte in Victoria.
So, what does the wines come from? In different parts of Victoria?
Normally, the fruit is all Victorian. I've got certain suppliers that will supply certain grape types. So, mainly my red grapes I'll get from Heathcote, and a lot of my whites I'll get from the Mornington Peninsula, or if I'm doing the sparkling wine, I'll get that from Northern Yarra Valley, a place called Kangaroo Ground.
Do you like to tell a little bit about these regions? Why do you source the grapes from these particular regions? Heathcote is a little bit warmer, like it's better for Shiraz.
It is better for Shiraz, but I've got, I think one of the best wines I've ever made was a Sangiovese from Heathcote as well. I've got a couple of different types of grapes there. I've also sourced some red grapes from Mornington Peninsula, but generally the whites I'll get either from Mornington Peninsula or Yarra Valley cool climate areas. I'm sort of in between both Yarra Valley and Mornington Peninsula, and there's some fantastic growers there. Look, you're a little bit restricted being such a small winery in terms of what fruit you can demand. So beggars can't be choosers, but I'm fortunate in that I've got a couple of really good growers that I go to on a regular basis to source my fruit.
Do you have like a very special reason to call your wine Trocchio, yeah? Would you like to share the story with us, please?
Sure. Look, my wife's maiden name is Di Trocchio, and she's from an Italian background, and the region that she comes from in Italy is a little place called Lenola in Lazio, Provincia Latina, and in that region, a wine press is actually called a Trocchio. Now, in other parts of Italy, I think it's called a Torchio, but from that region, it's a Trocchio. So her surname means of the wine press. So in the same way as people would be named after their profession, baker, carpenter, smith, blacksmith, something like that, at some stage your family would have been involved in winemaking. So the Trocchio, or the wine press that I actually use, belonged to her father. He built it with a friend of his who was a tool maker, and unfortunately I never got to meet him, but I can still use the wine press today, and I just thought there would be a nice bit of synergy in somehow incorporating the family name into the name of the winery.
And you make a wine called Teresina, yeah?
Yeah, so Teresina, my wife is very, very patient with my passion for wine. She didn't really like red wines, some white wines, but she really loves her bubbles. I'd never tried making sparkling wine before, so I tried the Method Champenois, doing it from home probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I thought, given that she's provided so much support and to earn some brownie points along the way, I called it Teresina. So her name is Teresa. Teresina is Little Teresa in Italian.
Is it Blanc de Blanc, only Chardonnay grapes?
All Chardonnay grapes, yeah, Blanc de Blanc style. Yeah.
So, your first memory relevant to wine?
Ooh.
Do you remember?
Oh, it would have been a long time ago. I think it's maybe a Sant'Emilio. Had a Christmas dinner at home, and I've actually bought a Grand Cru Sant'Emilio to have this year as well. I just saw one available and I thought, well, that brings back memories. So yeah, probably my first memory of wine is around the family table.
With your French wines?
Mainly French wines. My mum lived in France for about 7 years, and unlike a lot of Irish families, there's wasn't a great deal of wine around at the time. We're talking, 1,000 years ago. Well, maybe not that long, but quite some time ago. So it's becoming more and more prominent now. The Irish are really getting into the wines. So yeah, look, it was unusual back in the time, but I was lucky enough to have Francophile parents. There was a lot of really good cheeses and wines as well. So I think that's what planted the seed as far as the passion was concerned. Yeah.
So how did your business started? Like, how was the beginning? Why coming your idea to actually build a winery and make your own wines?
I think it related to some study that I was doing. Clearly passionate about wine, I made the call to study it. And as part of that, you need to do some trial batches as part of your studying as well. And from that, I just started to do it every year, sort of at the behest of family and friends. They liked what I produced because, it's very hard to do it in tiny quantities just for yourself. So easy to make larger quantities. So family and friends got behind it. So it was really at their behest that they said, yeah, look, we're like this, you should make more of it. And our accountant as well said, you're spending too much money on your hobby, you need to try and commercialise this a little bit. So yeah, that was the genesis of Trocchio Wines.
And it was 10 years ago, that's where everything started?
Yeah, probably about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit before that, but I started to get more serious about it 10 years ago.
Wow. And tell us, do you believe in the perfect variety? Do you have any favorite variety?
Oh, chops and changes. It's really is Sophie's choice, isn't it? Look, it depends on my mood, but there clearly are some varieties that you just have a passion for. Pinot Noir, because it's so difficult to grow in the vineyard. It's very temperamental when you're making it, but when it's done right, it can be absolutely sublime.
And you use a lot of your social media as well, yeah? So probably Instagram is your favorite?
Yeah, look, I've really got into the social media. Being a small operator, at first it was just let's take a step back. I would consider myself a wine lover first and then a wine maker second. And one of the platforms that I use, Instagram, there's a lot of wine lovers on that, and I just get lost in the conversations, chatting about wine. So many wine passionate people out there, so I tend to rely on that. But yeah, look at all the other social media challenges. It's for a small winery like this that doesn't have a big marketing budget, it's ideal for just getting a little bit of exposure and engagement with people out there that like wines. So what I try to do through that medium is try and educate people that may be on the start of their wine journey, and just to share my journey with them through social media.
And it works pretty well, because that's how we met.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is. It is. And look, I've met so many people through that social media network as well that are just as passionate, if not more passionate, as probably in your case, more passionate than me about wine. So look, it really is great. So there's no judgment. People are always really open about sharing their opinions on wine. Yeah, it's a lovely place to be.
Tell me one thing. If it's someone, just imagine like maybe in Australia or overseas, drinking Trocchio wines, like a VIP or very famous person. So do you have any favorite VIP or actor or singer or anything you'd like to see drinking Trocchio wines?
Again, putting me on the spot. Well, I've already had wine royalty, Priscilla, Queen of the Barossa, try my wines. Apart from that, I don't know. I mean, it'd be great if Jancis Robinson could have it, or look, I don't care who has it. What I care about is people that really enjoy it, and just I love sharing it, and that's why I'll probably never make any money, because I give more wine away than I actually sell. But it just, for me, somebody enjoying a glass of wine that I've made with friends and family is you couldn't ask for any more than that.
I can see the true passion in your eyes.
It is true. Yeah, look, I am that passionate about it, and I love sharing it. And look, wine is made to be shared. It's no good having it on your own. It's meant to be enjoyed with friends, family, around food.
Yeah. And then tell me, each vintage is different story. So that last 10 years having been more serious making wines, how was the difference between vintages?
Look, every vintage I try to make something different, because again it's part of my journey as well, and experimenting with different wines. There is always variation year on year. Some of it's subtle, some of it things like 2011 where it was a really, really wet year, a lot of disease pressure and so forth. You get wines with higher sort of acidity and not as much fruit forward. So look, you just see what you get when you get hold of the grapes, and you just work with what you've got. But yeah, look, year on year, variation between varieties will change, but changing up varieties for me is important.
So what do you have in your cellar today?
So in the cellar at the moment, 2021, I did Sauvignon Blanc from Mornington Peninsula that was organically grown. I don't think we can claim that it is organic, but look, it started in a good place. This year I've also done a GSM, or Grenache Shiraz Mourvèdre blend. So I've got
Very traditional, yeah.
Yeah, look, it is. I've gone. I was actually going to make a Grenache. Unfortunately, had some issues with the grower in Heathcote, and a couple of weeks out from vintage, they said, no, unfortunately we can't supply you. So I was scrambling. Thankfully, just somewhere on the South Australian border, I was able to get hold of a mix. So I've gone 60% 60% Grenache, 30% Shiraz, and 10% Mourvèdre. So, look, it's a Rhone style blend. It's gaining in popularity, as is Grenache. But yeah, look, it's something I enjoyed making.
Yeah, and definitely something like in Australia can sell very easily because people love it. Absolutely. So, when you were very little, what do you want it to be when you grow up?
When I was very little, look, I think one of the first ones that really resonated with me in terms of a dream job was working as a photographer following the Formula One circuit.
Wow.
Yeah, but look, I've always had a keen interest in photography. Not saying that I'm very good at it, but I do enjoy it. But that sort of changed as we do change throughout our careers. But yeah, look, I've never got around to doing that, but it was something that I started off as an interest. I think that's the first one that I can really remember as a standout.
And no photographer today?
No, look, I still do. I mean, you'll find that if you check my phone, you'll probably find that 90% of the photographs in there are either wine or wine related, vineyards or something to do with wine. So yeah, heaps of photographs.
So it's still a passion. So have you ever paired white wine with meat or red wine with fish? Do you have any rules about what goes with what when you're actually having dinner with your wife and son?
Yeah, look, it's probably become old hat now, but the rule is that there are no rules. I think we've come a long way from the days of, white wine with chicken and fish, and red wine with red meats. Look, it all depends on what you're eating, and it's not just about the protein on the plate. It's about what you're having with it, how it's cooked. That could quite easily lend itself to a different sort of wine. It also depends on the wine that you're having as well. But yeah, look, really there are no rules anymore as far as that's concerned. Just trying to think if there are any real standouts. Yeah, nothing springing to mind just at the moment. But yeah, no rules. Just go with what works for you, and just follow some of the key messages with pairing food and wine.
What do you suggest for the people listening us to Heathcote Shiraz pairing with what?
Heathcote Shiraz. Okay, so we're talking a lot of pepper and spice, very sort of fruit forward. What would you pair with that? Maybe Moroccan food would be good. Look, you can't go past a barbecue. I think you can't get any more Australian than Heathcote Shiraz and a nice steak on the barbie. But yeah, look, you're limited by your own imagination.
All the options sounds delicious. So, how many glasses or bottles of wine are needed to get you drunk? Tell us the truth.
There are degrees of drunk. Look, I tend not to. I'm a long way past 18, so the aim is.
Seriously? I thought it was just 18 years old.
Yeah, you're not bad for silicon, are you? Yeah, a long way past 18. So the idea is not to get drunk anymore, but I don't know.
It's almost Christmas time now, so you probably get close.
You'd start seeing the signs after half a bottle. Yeah, look, it's all about enjoying. Look, drink less, drink better is my motto as I get older. But yeah, probably the half bottle mark. Yeah, you'll
We start to be very happy and.
I talk. I just do not shut up. So, and my friends know that if ever they're in a social situation with me, it's like, look, whatever you do, don't get caught in a corner with Tim after he's had a couple of glasses of wine, because he will go on and on and on, telling you, whether you want to know about wine or not. He's going to tell you. So. Yeah, it's a bit of a warning sign for them.
This is an Irish culture, something like this?
It could be a little bit of that, yeah. The gift of the gab, as they say. Yeah.
How long have you been living in Australia?
In Australia, about 22 years now. Yeah, and before that, I was living in London for about 13 years. And yeah, a little bit of a stint in the States, but that was only 6 months. But could have ended up there. It was the plan, just a business venture fell through with corporate entertainment company that I was working with at the time. So yeah, look, destiny takes you where you need to be, and yeah, couldn't be happier living in Australia and making wine. Yeah.
And in Victoria, that's such a beautiful place. Where you're not working, how do you spend your free time? Do you have a free time?
Yeah. It's free time is pretty limited at this stage. Yeah, what do I enjoy doing? Look, try to get down to the peninsula, get out to the beaches. I love playing around in the garden. Look, wine is always so this is not my full-time job, and it's my favourite hobby. So yeah, but look, there is a life outside of that. Obviously, friends and family catching up. Haven't been able to do so in the last few years, but I enjoy travelling. Really want to go travelling again. I'm itching to do it. So I think first time back, it's got to be Italy and Ireland to see friends and family. But prior to lockdown, I was just dead set on going to Latin America, South America. I just want to do all the wine regions around there. Yeah, so that's on the bucket list. Yeah, as the next destination.
And probably now we can travel again. Thanks God, the border's open.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm just hanging out. So we won't be doing anything. Maybe we'll see how 2022 goes, but certainly 2023 will. You won't be able to stop us.
So, where did you go on your first date or second? Do you remember your first date we have with someone, or maybe with Teresa? Did you take her to drink a good wine? It was Italian wine. It was Tell us a story.
No, it wasn't wine. I don't.
Was not wine.
I don't think there was any wine involved at the time.
Was juice?
No, it wasn't.
Grapey juice?
We would have we would have gone to the pub. Yeah, it was an interesting. We were friends before we were an item, so to speak. I was living on houseboats in London at the time, living on Eel Pie Island. So it's a little island in the middle of the Thames. And Teresa hadn't been in London that long, and she came over to visit. And I told her, ring me when you get to the station. This was before mobile phones. I'll tell you how long ago it was. Before mobile phones, and I said, ring me from the station, I'll come and get you, because you had to, the only way onto the island was via footbridge. So she had to come over the footbridge, work her way through a working boatyard, and there was an artist colony there as well, and then down a little laneway to get to the boat that I was on. And I said, there's no way you're going to find it. And time was... I was going. I'm thinking, oh, where is she? My friend is going to kill me if she left Teresa in my. It was my responsibility to look after her, and she was about half an hour late. And I thought, oh, something's happened. I got really worried, and then I heard the bell go on the boat, and I looked down, and she went, "G'day, you Tim?" And I thought, geez, I should have known right from the outset that she's never going to listen to anything I say. I told her not to come, but she made her way. So yeah, look, we went for a walk, and I think went for a pub meal after that. So that was the first date. Yeah. But it wasn't a date because we were just friends at that stage. But anyway,
so did not have a wine that day.
We didn't have a wine that day.
Was it soft drink?
No. She may have had a coffee or something in the pub. But I would have had a beer. Yeah.
Complete the sentence. A day without wine is like
a nightmare.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. No, look, I drink every day. We touched on moderation earlier. I mean, I always have a glass, maybe 2 glasses of wine with my meal every day. So my wife uses that as a bit of a litmus test. So if I'm not having a glass of wine, I'm not well. So that's normally.
She's your doctor, yeah? What's going on with you today, Tim?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Do you have any good lucky ritual or anything you do before the harvest is started?
No, look, I'm not a superstitious person. The only.
Say, God, please, give me good fruit.
The only thing that I do pray for is. Unfortunately, my wife has her birthday right in the middle of vintage, and I keep my fingers crossed. I do a little dance or whatever I need to do to make sure that I'm not picking grapes or I'm not picking up grapes on her birthday. And I know I drive her crazy because she said, "Can we do this?" Or I said, "I can't. I don't know what's going to happen with vintage." Because you're at the behest of the gods in terms of when grapes are going to be ready, and when they're ready, they're ready. They don't go, "Oh, it's Teresa's birthday, we'll just hold off a little bit." When they need to be picked, they need to be picked. And sometimes I'm not very popular. And look, that's probably the real reason why I named my sparkling wine after her, just to try and recover some brownie points.
So sometimes you do a dancing. You need to teach us how the dancing works.
All the dancing is done in private. Nobody gets to see that. Although there was one time that I posted. I think it was a Saturday Night Fever thing on Instagram. So if you check the profile, scroll back through it, you'll see me in 70s disco gear doing a little bit of a dance.
I'm gonna see. What is the wine you think you'll be drinking in the future? Because we have some few problems today with climate change and everything, or even people preference. So today we see a lot of rosé and sparkling sales in the wine. So what do you think for the future?
What I think for the future is that we're going to be drinking a lot more sustainably farmed wine from sustainably farmed grapes. I think because of global warming, look, it is pretty disappointing the way things are going. I think we've all got a responsibility to the land that we look after. Look, you've heard it said many times before that we are custodians of the land. I think we're going to start seeing more Italian varieties and Spanish varieties, or varieties that are suited to warmer climates. Look, I'm loving the degree of experimentation that a lot of Australian winemakers are employing with, particularly grapes from Etna, for example, Sicilian grapes where they're used to a warmer climate, and even white grapes like Fiano, Nera d'Avola. I'll get in trouble for how I pronounce that. With one of the drawbacks of having an Italian wife, she just picks you up on that. But look, it is going to change. It is going to change. It'll probably be a slow burn, but we genuinely need to start thinking about it now, and we need to start looking after more the way we treat the land that we've got, because we want the land to continue to provide us with good quality fruit as we work our way through global warming.
And what is about, like, do you have any other regions in the world you'd like to go to visit, like for explore more about wine regions? Like you talk a lot about for Italy. Do you have any other country you'd like to see more, to explore more?
Yeah, look, there's heaps of them. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a big fan of travel. Probably split into categories. One of my biggest regrets when I left Europe was not having travelled as extensively and not having been into wine as much, because I really would have made the most of my time there. Being in Australia, we're so far removed, it takes it's quite a commitment to get over there. So I think Spain is one of the regions that I'd like to explore more of. I think everybody does Italy and France because of the high profile, but a lot of some of the lesser known wine regions or wine countries or wine producing countries is something that I'm interested in. I watched, I think it's Eddie McDougall is his name, the Flying Winemaker. He did a series of obscure winemaking regions. So places in India, right across Asia. When we went to Japan, I took a day out for myself and went to Yamanashi Prefecture. So that's the home of Koshu grapes, and visited a couple of wineries there, and that was a real eye-opener in terms of how they grow their grapes and how you need to adapt to the climates that you've got and the conditions. But that was that really opened my eyes and just sort of whetted my appetite for discovering more obscure wine regions. And as we touched on earlier, Latin America, there's just so much happening there. Argentina, Chile, even Brazil, further down, further south in the highlands there, and just keen to explore all of those regions as well. But time is limited, money is limited, and there's so many. You'll never get to see them all.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, it's. If there's one thing that I want to focus on in the future, is not just sort of honing my craft here, but getting out into some of those regions and just enjoying what they do, and getting a bit of inspiration from some of these places as well, because we're only restricted by our own imagination, and you can get incentives or passion from everywhere, and inspiration from all around the world when it comes to wine. It's not just restricted to the old world and new world. There's so many regions out there.
And more in Australia, we have much more freedom to making wine, so we don't need to go in that rules like in DOC or AOC, like appellations in France.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something that I often pondered on, particularly with global warming, because you're particularly the growers in the appellations in France and DOCGs in Italy, and a lot of regions have their constraints on what you can grow, how you grow it, and they're renowned for growing certain types of grapes. had a chat with a friend that grows in Piemonte, so she's in Barbaresco, and I was saying, well, what's the general feeling there about some of the grapes? And she said, look, we've got the option to move, further up the Alto Adige, and they should be okay. But there are other regions, particularly in France, where they're so restricted. We're just so fortunate here that we can make our own arrangements and remain sufficiently agile to adapt, and it has us better placed. Not saying that the French or Italians or Spanish won't be able to do that, but we've certainly got more freedoms here to play around.
Yeah, that's why we see so many good wines with different grapes and different blends. Let's play a game. Are you ready for that?
Never ready. I hate spontaneous things, but let's give it a go.
So, the game is very simple.
Yep.
I will tell you famous people, from actors, singers, different people, and you tell me a grape or wine you pick for them and the why.
Oh, gee. Okay. Okay. As long as you can cut this out later.
Let's start with someone very relaxed, like Bobby Marley. Which wine did you pick for Bobby Marley?
Bob Marley, it's got to be something really, really cruisy, something easy drinking. I'd say a Chardonnay for Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he'll be inhaling at the same time. Don't worry about that. But yeah, maybe a Chardonnay, because it comes in many guises. It can be right up there in terms of technically well produced, but it can be just very, very casual. And I think that he falls in the latter category.
Yeah. And someone very bubble, like Beyonce.
Beyonce. It's got to be something bubbly. I would say a Prosecco or Rosé.
Or Teresina.
Or a Teresina. Yeah. If I've got any left, I'll. She'll have to be nice to me. Yeah.
If you're going to Angelina Jolie. She is very pretty.
She is.
I like her lips. It's very big. You need to find some wine they actually can drink.
Yeah. You're probably talking something that is a little bit luscious. I don't know. It'd have to be maybe a big fruited Grenache, maybe, because she's got a dark side as well, and Grenache can, if depending on how it's made, it can have a dark side as well. Yeah.
And Madonna,
Vogue.
She's aging very well.
She's aging very well. Something a bit rebellious, something different. You mentioned Nero d'Avola earlier on. Nero d'Avola. Maybe it's dark. I don't know whether she's originally Sicilian. I know she's got Italian heritage. So, given that's its home to Mount Etna. I reckon she could erupt at any second. You never know what you're going to get with her. Yeah, that's a good call for her, I think.
Michelle Obama.
She's a classy lady. I reckon she's French champagne all the way.
Oh, French champagne for her. Wow.
Well,
good choice.
Exactly.
Why?
I think the sophistication. She always seems to play second fiddle, but I think she's come out from the shadows, and a little bit sort of understated. But when you have a look behind the scenes, you can see that there's that level of sophistication there as well. And I think French champagne is a little bit like that.
And Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
You need to choose one for him.
Maybe an orange wine.
You love it or you don't like it?
Nah, because you got to pair. You got to pair like with like sometimes, and I couldn't think of anything better for Mr. Orange than an orange wine out of a cask. Yeah.
The last one, Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela. What an absolute legend. What would he be drinking? Something that's changed the world, because he's done a lot of that. Through how he goes about, I don't know. Like I'd give Nelson, even though it hasn't changed the world, Pinot Noir. It used to be for the elite at one stage, but everybody's getting around it. Very complex, very classy as well. Pinot Noir, I think, for the young Nelson.
Yeah. I hope Nelson likes Pinot Noir as well. I think he probably will.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you very much, team. Would you like to remind us how to reach your website address, your social media, how the people can find you on internet?
Yeah, look, all under Trocchio Wines. So the web address is trocchiowines.com.au, and just on all the socials under Trocchio Wines. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Tim. It was lovely to interview you, and hopefully we enjoyed that. Give us a vote from 1 to 10.
Of how you've performed, mate, you're right up there at 10. What a question!
10. I thought you would give me 11.
And look, you got to work.
I'm very upset now.
I didn't realise that was possible.
Thank you so much, Tim. It was very nice. I hope you enjoy a glass of wine now, of Trocchio Wines, and enjoy your Christmas day as well.
Thank you. No, look, I've really enjoyed this chat. Don't know how good I was at that game, but yeah, look, thanks for your support over the last year or so. Really appreciate it, and look forward to sharing some wine with you.
Thank you, team.
Thanks for listening to a new episode of Wine Soundtrack Australia. For details and updates, visit our website, winesoundtrack.com.